Okay, I don't even think this is gonna fit. So I've got 4 packages to open, and no room for all this stuff. So let's just start opening these and get to work. This box here, I think this is only a single DVD, so it's a little oversized. Or maybe it's only one Blu-ray. Oh yes, that. Okay, then we got the other half of this. I know this is the pull strip, but that works. Well, this week's gonna be good because this box, this makes. Well, this is the bottom, and that's so intense. But this should be the Under the Dog Kickstarter, I think. Okay, be very careful coming towards me like that. This is, of course, the bottom because I'm being lazy and not taking the labels off. I never do. Gosh, what a piece of crap. Try not to go too deep with the scissors because it's a really good way to ruin some perfectly good merchandise. I also don't like that I'm pulling the scissors toward me. Part of well, that's close. This is one annoying piece of crap. Ding. Well, that's half of it open. And the rest of it is being painful. I think part of the problem is there's an overlap of things. Like there's a lot of sticker overlap there. So that's open, and now there's this far side. And this box is just so big that not everything fits. In fact, let's actually temporarily reposition the camera over here so we can take a look at the goodies as I go through them. Okay, this was taped shut, it looks like, and on the inside this is probably something like a cell. In fact, I think that's exactly what it is. I don't even remember what all I ordered. No, this is now seeming more like a poster. Oh no, they printed it upside down. Let's see. It's a little big for the camera, so let's zoom out a bit. That's a pretty big poster. I have to decide, because usually I don't hang up posters. I guess there's some I have, but something like this I want to be a little more careful with. Just because, you know, if I poke holes in it, then... So I'm going to put this back in cardboard to protect it. So we can... I guess I'll put it over here. This looks like a shirt. Okay. It's probably good because apparently I forgot to put on an anime related shirt, so maybe in between the videos. Looks like it's the same as the same general drawing as the poster, which is good because it means this might be. I'm trying to decide if that cleavage would I think most people at work wouldn't care, but it's a big enough company that I want to make sure only all people don't care. And this is probably the main thing for today's video from this package. Eventually I will get to the bottom. You can kind of tell this is a Bright Stuff package. Let's get it out of the way. Let's see. So this looks like a shipping manifesto with a bunch of stuff. That's a coin, so that comes back. This is basically a lot of paper for Right Stuff. This is the one with my name and address and the 7 things. DVD, Blu-ray, soundtrack, art book, signed poster, challenge, coin, and large t-shirt. So, other pieces of paper. We got a signed thank you for the long wait. You know, it's all because of you. And then an official guide to Under the Dog. Okay, some pre-order Under the Dog guidebook hardcover. Might be something worth considering if I watch it in particular or like it. I haven't actually seen it yet because I knew this DVD release would eventually be coming, and now I have it. Of course, its timing is kind of bad. I want to get a better look at this coin. Okay, I guess that's a dog with a muzzle on it. And I can just leave it in this thing. If you search, you will find. Okay, kind of hard to read on the little camera thing. Okay, I'll set that aside. Let's see. Okay, we got separate DVD and Blu-ray versions, the original CD soundtrack, and Under the Dog art book. That said, I do have to make a decision. I saw something really colorful, some interesting artwork in there. But I guess before I continue on, I do have other non-anime stuff because this is about to start the DVD stuff. First of all, I got Doctor Strange. Let's take this back over here to the ominously huge pile. This is just a Blu-ray DVD of it. I thought I was tracking it on Amazon kind of well, but I guess not, because I saw it in Target. And why was I at Target? Because, well, if you know what this is, then you know what I'm about to show you, because this is not the official packaging, of course, but I got a Nintendo Switch. And Zelda, and of course, well, Zelda's and Super Bomberman are in there. There's more I could potentially show, I guess, but I bet there's tons of unboxing videos on the internet, so let's go with this one. There's probably not as many of these, but there may be a couple. We've got 12 songs on this. Not finding an easy way to open that, so I won't care as much since this is traditionally an anime DVD collection update. Like that's about right. So let's begin digging into the Blu-ray. It's definitely different in the back, you know, because it's a Kickstarter fund and not a, oh, we're listing something on the shelves sort of thing. And I guess I just can't cut that plastic. It's a little tenacious, and my nails have been trimmed recently, so on to tools. Oh, jeez. I only just started the opening of the anime DVDs, and already the floor is a mess. There we go. Alright, so now it's a straightforward DVD case with a straightforward DVD. Yeah, nothing, it's not an expensive DVD, but it doesn't look like there's cut corners. There's the Blu-ray. It's not saying any regions. Not the thickest layer of Blu-ray I've ever felt, but it's not bad. Okay, next up we've got a Sekai Ichi Hatsukoi, Seasons 1 and 2 OVAs. I'm just trying to eye this side pile over here to see if there's any duplicates, because I'm not 100% sure. It came in 4 packages, as you saw, so yeah. And this looks like a Funimation release. Yeah, it says... Does that say Funimation? Yeah, that does. Jeez. This camera takes a while to autofocus, I guess. And I'm guessing this is subtitled only. Japanese stereo. 650 minutes. Is that 6? Nice. Well, they're probably saying, of course it's a 650. I mean, that means it's like, what? A loose disc. It's an interesting choice of colors, or mix of colors. It seems like they don't tend to do that as much. They could even just be Funimation, so. Yeah. Did we look at the back? We looked at the back. We probably got to look at the back a lot. I guess for this one, I think there's a couple things I kind of wanted to verify a couple of things, which is, I think I got Season 1, Volume 1 of DVD and Blu-ray versions, and then I kind of wanted to just take a peek at this to make sure. Yeah, okay, so I bought an extra copy of that. That's okay. I bought it knowing that was that, and it wasn't that pricey. So I wanted to make sure I was thorough, and I was also really sleepy, and when I saw that these had shipped, I knew I'd done something weird, but I couldn't remember what. I'm getting that plastic separated. Even though it's really fragile this time. Nice and easy to open. So, let's see. I was worried that was saying 4Kids, but it's Flatiron. Because 4Kids lost the right to distribute Yu-Gi-Oh! Which I think was actually better in the long run, because we suddenly got this explosion of other Yu-Gi-Oh! Releases. As a series, it seems to just do much better under whoever's distributing it now, I guess. So the first discs are the same between DVD and Blu-rays. Seconds and thirds look the same, so it's kind of interesting. I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh! ARC-V, so I don't know if it makes sense for them to be that way. Next up, we have a Starmyu, which kind of feels like a combination of both forms of Staryu, which of course it is not that. It's Region A. Yeah, I guess this one's Japanese with English subtitled as well. So those Funimation sub-only titles are actually becoming pretty common. This one is a DVD Blu-ray release, so I'm guessing part of the reason maybe... I think maybe they're finding that they sell just fine. And this one looks like it may have a more female audience, and maybe those don't sell as well. I don't know. Well, that's DVD 2 and that's DVD 1. This is Blu-ray 1 and Blu-ray 2. Of course, another possibility is this is a Blu-ray release. No, it was the other way around. I was thinking, and because it can be reverse imported, yada yada, but actually that's the opposite. That needs it to be English dub only, so no, it's not that. We got a Is it just Miss Hokusai? Don't know much about it, but definitely looks interesting. I could even probably just read the back and get a good impression, but sometimes I'd like to just watch something not even doing that. I just want to dive in and see how the series unfolds. And you know, that actually works out pretty well for some things. Let's see, we've got the DVD and the Blu-ray versions. It's presentation is kind of similar to the Princess Kaguya. Of course, that's probably part of the design, or maybe it's the same director. I don't know. I guess not. Well, there was obviously this Yosuga no Sora Blu-ray release. We're getting a surprising number of Media Blaster Blu-ray releases. Now, if only oh, that did get released on DVD. The Hat Traveler whatchamacallit thing. I still have a tab open to monitor that. I think this series may be slightly more notable. Maybe? Like Hat Traveler, something or the other. I can't think about anything about that being kind of notorious, and this isn't like too infamous, but it is what it is. So let's see, we've got 2 discs. And I guess it's really hard to see. I don't remember if the DVD was dubbed. My guess was not. English, Japanese. So I guess that's a subtitle only, which is okay. Next we got Phantasy Star Online 2, the animation. The Tenacious Plastic. Let's see, this is one of these, so just like that. There's an anime about well-known RPG. Why did I open it up first? Is it a mecha? I didn't think it was a mecha. Region A, Japanese, subtitle only. Japanese with subtitles only. Yes, yes. Not dubbed, in other words. Now, the real reason we should be opening the DVD version first is because we've got disc arts to compare. So, disc 1 is the same. You're a little stuck in there. Looks like disc 2 is the same, but disc 3 is unique to this. Oh, let's seal that again. Put the questionnaire in there. And then, last but not least, we have Turn to Gundam Volume 2. Which, I'm trying to remember if that meant that or this means that all of Turn to Gundam is now released on Blu-ray. And maybe I should once again say, oh yes, I'm looking forward to watching this, even though I've done a really bad job of not watching all this stuff. And of course it got worse. This has been a week for worseness. So I'll take a quick peek inside. Oh, it's a little loose. Disc 5 and disc 6. And those ladies are not wearing much in the way of clothing. Oh well. Anyways, that's this week's anime DVD collection update. So, pretty much the only anime I watched was Amagami Brilliant Park. Sorry, it's Amagi Brilliant Park. Amagami is, of course, different anime, but Amagi Brilliant Park, and it was actually pretty entertaining. It didn't wow me or anything like that, I guess, but it was just entertaining. It's interesting because it begins by setting up this girl as being the kind of archetype that I loathe in anime, but then they held themselves back a lot. They had that kind of humor in there, I guess, to allow people who really like that to enjoy those moments, but at the same time, she wasn't this overly violent thug throughout most of it, and she was actually a character that was entertaining enough to watch. There were lots of characters in here. Just trying to think what would be worth even commenting about. It's interesting because it kind of presents itself as a bunch of different potential candidates, and it never quite nails any of them as, oh, I'm this sort of anime, so you should be really excited by this. I'm trying to think what to say and what not to say because I don't want to spoil too much. Because while it presents those, it really just kind of uses those ideas as little elements here and there, and instead it's kind of a sort of I'd like to say slice of life, but there's definitely a kind of overall goal there. It's not completely aimless, and some of the things I like about it is our main guy is, I guess he's presented as capable, but not infallible. So it definitely has a lot more of a slice of life vibe to it because of that. But at the same time, it's I don't think I can explicitly say it's that, because to me, slice of life kind of implies a lack of progression, which is something this show does not do. In fact, it kind of reminds me of Mahoromatic in terms of having a countdown involved. And Mahoromatic is just way more vague about the implications of the countdown and just a good feeling of how much time remains before the countdown is over, whereas this show does a pretty good job of it. So overall enjoying one, but I didn't get a lot of other anime watching done. I did watch some Princess Tutu with a friend. I'm watching that, and it's a rewatch for me, and it's great as always. I think I realized something while we were watching it that I hadn't realized before, but nothing I can really think of to really say. Outside of that, obviously I'm going to talk about video game stuff kind of soon, but I saw Logan in theaters. And I actually thought it was a good movie. It's something that I probably wouldn't watch a lot. You know, watching it again is it's got a kind of stressfulness to it, but it's kind of interesting because of why the implications and all that stuff that it has. And overall, I'd say it's a good movie, but I wouldn't say it's a good X-Men movie. And maybe a good way to understand what I mean when I say that is to compare with the Metroid Fusion, which I consider to be a good game, but I don't consider to be a good Metroid game. There's a couple of aspects of the Metroid game and some of the lore that kind of get mixed up a little bit in Fusion, where, you know, there's a lot of dialogue in Fusion. I mean, not a huge amount, but for a Metroid game, which should have very little dialogue, I guess, there's a lot of dialogue in Fusion, and Fusion also does a really good job, and I wouldn't say this is a good thing for a Metroid game. It does a good job of keeping you kind of on a rail, and then eventually you expand, and it kind of loses that exploratory feeling that is kind of a key component of a good Metroid game. You know, they call them, do they call them Metroidvania? Or do they call it something else? Because the entire idea is exploration is important, and Fusion kind of doesn't have that, but that doesn't mean that Fusion's a bad game. It's just it kind of deviates from the core concepts of what makes a Metroid game Metroid, and it's a neat game that has other stuff, and like, I don't know, I think Fusion is actually a pretty neat game. So going back to Logan, I thought that what Logan does, it's probably a better example of the the underlying concept, I guess, because the X-Men universe elements are there, and there's some main important characters there, of course, but their goal with the world, the confrontations they encounter, they're very different. It strikes me more as kind of an on-the-road sort of story, except it has this interesting, grimy element that I don't feel has really been explored that much in X-Men. Now, that could just be because I've only explored certain elements of it, but it's interesting. I liked it. So, now, video game stuff. Obviously, I got a Nintendo Switch, like I showed. If you're curious how, I realized the night before the Target wasn't doing pre-orders, and then they were probably not staying open overnight to do a special release, because Target just doesn't do that. And they opened up at 7 a.m., and if I woke up an hour earlier from my usual time, and it turned out to be an hour and a half because of anticipation, I guess, that basically means that I could see if there was a big long line of Target, and if it wasn't too long, maybe also find out, how well Target would be stocked, and if there was a chance I would get one. And there were only 8 people in line. I was the 9th person. I got the 5th gray console, and I think the kid to my right got the 5th colored one, neon one, I guess they're calling it. And so that was my first time actually standing in front of a store for 40 minutes before they opened, which wasn't a problem. I was still playing Pokemon. I still consider myself to be playing it now, just doing some battle tree stuff and some breeding related to that, but that of course slowed to a crawl because I got the Nintendo Switch, and I got these 2 games. First Zelda, and then I went back later in the day and I got Super Bomberman ARC, because I kind of figured this one wouldn't sell super well, and I guess it's kind of pricey for what it is, but for me, this was a good thing to get just because I've played Super Bomberman 2 with my Friday friend a lot, and we played this a little. I wouldn't expect us to do it a whole lot, but it was a good opportunity to actually, give other people a chance to play, because this is kind of a different sort of experience. And that basically means that, if I want people to say, oh yeah, I played the Switch, Bomberman just seemed like a good, simple option to do. And I guess it's okay. It seems like there's stuff to buy using in-game currency, and that it kind of doesn't come to you really fast, so it might be a little grindy, but it does come with your Bomberman basics unlocked pretty well, so it's not bad. It's just, I can't help but feel like if I wasn't time sinking into Zelda, I might have to into Super Bomberman R just to say unlock all the stages, maybe? Unless it's just those handful, but I don't know. Anyways, and obviously, like most people, I've been enjoying Zelda Breath of the Wild. At least most people who've been playing it. It's definitely different from the other Zelda games. If you've, that's one thing I kind of realized that's nice about the Zelda franchise, is they do a lot of experimentation and deviance. This one is definitely a lot more inspired by your open world stuff. So you'll have things like outfits that have armor, and so the game's not as freely giving of, say, heart pieces, because instead of building up an arsenal of heart pieces, I guess you do something different. And I'm far enough along to comment a bit more about that, but I kind of don't want to say too much. I want people to be able to play it. I've died a couple times, which is pretty unusual for a Zelda game. Can't really be helped because there's some things that just kill you in one hit, and I'm kind of a clumsy explorer, I guess. That's how I've been evaluating myself. I think I've gotten more clumsy over time. That said, it's definitely a different experience. There's some of the music that I think is intentionally designed to give you feelings like from Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky or Spirited Away. Although Spirited Away wasn't as isolated, but there's some parts of it that kind of are. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told me the composer was the same, even though I don't think they are. But it gives that vibe. It's interesting. It probably, I could be playing it faster if I wanted to, but I do like nooks and crannies and getting stuff. And oh, here's a side quest. So it's going to be a real problem when later this year Skyrim comes out, because I've never played it. I've never really played any Bethesda games, so Skyrim's going to be a good opportunity for me to do that, because, you know, it's coming out for the Switch. I have the Switch, and I'll probably have Breath of the Wild to introduce me to some of the concepts. Now, if anybody's curious how far I am, I'm not quite sure what's a good unit of measurement. I've been kind of following the guidelines as they tell me where to go, but I don't think I'm limited to them per se. Like, I kind of noticed I can't climb up this one mountain because it's way too cold, and I have some anti-cold stuff, and I could probably trek up there if I really wanted to, if I just cooked the right stuff. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know yet. But I'm not doing that right now because I'm obviously recording this video, and I don't know. I think that's stuff. It's probably more stuff than y'all really were thinking y'all needed to hear. And obviously, because I have the Sheikah Slate carrying case for the for the Switch, that does mean I got the limited edition version of Zelda. Probably because I ended up being the 9th person in line. Everybody was guaranteed a console, but limited edition versions of Zelda were a little rare. And I guess, if I'm mentioning that, I should at least point out the Guardian amiibo that didn't come with it, but also got while I was there. So yeah, I guess that's everything. If y'all are curious, no, I haven't been having any problems whatsoever with my Switch. I don't even think I've gotten scratches on the screen, but I'm wondering, I haven't looked too closely at those videos, and I can't help but wonder how much of it is overblown, because a lot of people are talking about it and complaining about it, but they seem to be, it doesn't seem to be the people who are having problems that are necessarily in massing, and so what's happening is you see people that have this collection of bad things and assume it's going really bad, but nobody seems to have any real numbers. Maybe they do by now, I don't know. But as long as people keep talking negatively about it, even though there's no good hard numbers or even estimates or guesstimates, I can't help but feel like people are just kind of blowing smoke, mostly. Which is why, I don't know, I should look at the scratch thing. But they were saying that the old launch 3DS also got scratches from being closed, and if it's that thing I remember seeing, it was a non-issue. It never bothered me. So, I don't know. That's a lot of stuff, I guess, to talk about. So, y'all, have a nice week.